Welcome to Soni Irabor Live. Well, tonight we're dealing with issues that have to do with the way we speak our language, and focus is on Edo language. But first, let's look at, I just want to refer to certain things I picked from the internet, that most languages, though, die out gradually as successive generations of speakers become bilingual by nature, and then begin to lose proficiency in their traditional languages. This often happens when speakers seek to learn a more prestigious language in order to gain social relevance and all of that, or even economic advantages. Well, another issue is discrimination. You could be made a victim of circumstance if you're not careful. Extinction rate is alarming. And so by the year 2100, by the year 2100, they believe that up to 40 or even 50% of world languages would have gone extinct. That would be very serious. So what tonight we are doing is to focus on Edo language, which has enjoyed a day dedicated to it as August the 13th of every year. And this was put together by a group led by Nekpen Obasogie. And so tonight, they are with us. Nekpen is from Canada. Dr Osholene Upiomoh is also from Canada. And then Dr Harris Enabulele is from New Jersey in USA. So welcome, ladies. We're waiting for Dr. Harris. He will join us soon, but let's start. Dr. Nekpen, how are you? What gave you the brainchild to start this thing? Yes.
The Edo Language Day Worldwide Initiative is part of our efforts to revitalize the Edo linguistic heritage. The Edo Initiative, itself, or the Edo Language Day Initiative, is a part of our efforts to revitalize the Edo linguistic heritage, the warning by the United Nations over the extinction of indigenous languages around the world. Because it has been estimated that at least 50%, like what you said earlier, that 50% of today's spoken languages will be extinct or seriously endangered by 2100. Okay? So the Edo linguistic heritage is not exempt from the list of indigenous languages that are gradually becoming extinct. So that was the reason some of us came together to initiate Edo Language Day Worldwide. For August 13th every year, we have been celebrating it. And it was initiated in 2022. And we have celebrated it 2 times. This year will be our 3rd edition of Edo Language Day.
Okay. Well, you're an Edo speaking lady by all indication. All right, what about Dr. Upiomoh? How do you pronounce your name, by the way? Upiomoh or what?
But you pronounce it like you're from my village, so that is good.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Upiomoh.
So, Upiomoh. Okay, good. Now, your side of Edo in Edo State is different from Nekpen's side. What is your language called or dialect called?
Uwanu. So we are the Esako people of Uwanu. So we are the ones referred to as Afemai. So if you know Doklesi, you will know me and my people.
Okay, Doklesi, of course. I knew him because this program started on AIT in 1996 or 97. And then we lost it just about a year or 2 ago, sadly. Right, but anyway, let us look at the fact that languages are going extinct. And they said by the year 2100, so many languages would have gone extinct. How do you think we can revive the ones that with the stage we are now? Because Edo is endangered, isn't it? Nekpen.
Thank you, Uncle Soni. It's an honor to be on the Soni Irabor live show. Dr. Osholene Upiomoh. And so it's me saying I greet you all. I'm Dr. Osholene Upiomoh. The only way we can preserve our language is by using it. Whatever you don't lose, you lose. That's it. Oh,
Okay.
goodness, that rhymes. What you don't use, you lose. So
Okay. All right.
it's just by using it.
All right, Nekpen, back to you now. So she just said something, whatever you don't lose, you lose. That's some serious issue.
That just came out.
Okay, so what do you think is responsible for the way our languages are going down? Nekpen Obasogie.
I'm having some difficulty understanding.
Yes, the plight. The plight. Can you hear?
No, Doctor.
Can you hear me?
Doctor, let's talk to Nekpen first.
The plight.
Yeah. Yes, Nekpen. Nekpen, go ahead.
Yes, the plight of indigenous languages in the plight of indigenous languages in Nigeria today is as a result of a colonial policy. You know, when you look at it, when we were in primary school, when I was in primary school in the areas, we were not allowed to use our indigenous languages in the classroom. Because the colonial policy constructed our indigenous languages as secondary to the European languages in Africa. As a result of that salience of power that designated the activities of the Europeans in Africa during the colonial era, is what led to the colonial policy. So right now, what we are facing is how we can shape the consciousness of our people about the narratives of our languages, of our indigenous languages. That has been our challenge since we started promoting Edo language, especially since we initiated Edo Language Day worldwide in 2022. There are a lot of people who have advised me to forget about this promotion of Edo language and culture, that what is so beneficial about it is just a part of that, narratives that the Europeans or the colonial policy inculcated in us, in our people. Many of us today are complicit of this issue, or the issue affecting our indigenous languages in Africa, because majority of us have not been using the language with our children at home. So how do we revitalize the language right now? Are we getting even funding to encourage the promotion of the language? The question is the government right now, the government of Edo State or the government of Nigeria supporting the revitalization of indigenous languages? I said, no, nobody is supporting. Even sometimes when we try to solicit for support from some organizations and individuals, we are being advised to forget about this language promotion, that is not beneficial to us. So that is where we are finding ourselves today.
Okay. Well, Dr. Upiomoh, okay, I have to get it right. Yes. What do you think is the threat to your dialect of Edo language? A threat.
Lady Nekpen, could you kindly repeat that question for me, because I'm having a hard time hearing Uncle Sam.
Okay. What do you think is a threat to your dialect of Edo language? Threat.
From where I am, you're breaking up. So please, Lady Nekpen, I can hear you much better. Could you kindly repeat the question, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Osholene, can you hear me? What do you think is the threat facing your indigenous language in Edo State today?
Okay, I head to the point what I think is the threat. I should say maybe facing Edo language, so I will speak from there. So I think by now we understand the history of what has become the way we have become. Now, in understanding that history, it now becomes, what do we do now? Just like in life, you don't use your muscle, you lose it. In order for us to be a pigment or a shadow of ourselves, we were prevented from being ourselves. We now have the ability to fix that, use it. However, the reason you may not use a thing is because you do not understand the importance of a thing. Edo is a dynasty. The kingdom of Igodomigodo. The kingdom that the British even feared. Not necessarily because of its fierceness, but because of its intelligence. if you understand the span of existence that we do cover even up until now, but the colonial borders will not even help us understand the greatness of our rich and our people. So this is what happens. If you do not love your language enough to use it, the same foreigners will come back and teach you your language. So, someone was asked in relation to the people of, I forgot now the people, but they went into the land and they say, what happened to the land? Why is it so decimated? And the person says, because they forgot their language, they forgot their history. And because they forgot their history, they no longer exist. I work for an organization called Culture Wins Global. Culture is beyond the clothes we wear. It's beyond the way we even speak and the dancing and music. Culture is everything. My lovely sister, Lady Nekpen, has spoken to the fact of what has happened and how some of us have to do that work of revitalization. Beyond the money, whoever is able to hear me today, learn your language and speak it, that's it. I worked at the University of Toronto, both as a researcher, as an educator. When I go to the office of the deans of the Sedans, the Italian speak, you are right there standing in front of them. The Italian is speaking their Italian language. The Portuguese is speaking the Portuguese language. They come back to you and speak in English. If you're in Portuguese, they will speak a language, your language to you in service to you. The Chinese are strong. They've established themselves to the point that the banks are forced to have dealings. They have banking scripts, all their forms, not scripts. I mean, their forms, ATM, are either in Chinese or English or French. You will choose. If there are banks functioning in the Portuguese side of town, you have it. You're forced to have those things. So I was speaking with a much older woman who was mentioning that we should be grateful that the white man has come to help us with one language with which we can communicate. And I said, wow, it's a shame that you think that our mothers and fathers and our mothers and mothers and mothers before them and our fathers and fathers and fathers before them could not communicate before the white man existed.
That's a good one.
My grandmother alone, who was, when you count among the richest women in the land at the time when Eko was still Eko, she could communicate with over 5 languages, and she was one of the few richest women, not few because we were all doing well, but she was very influential. And she communicated in Igbo, in Hausa, in Yoruba. Communication means that the ability to deal with the diversity of your environment. And you will know that within our indigenous cultures, we have no history of holy wars and fighting and dissemination. All that came because we were trying to survive the external attacks.
That's
what am I saying this to say? And please, Uncle Soni, if I have a moment before the show ends, I'd like to use 3 minutes to give a metaphoric story. Now, what I'm trying to say is this. The only threat to our languages is us. We are the ones allowing it to go extinct. Speak and use your language. Have activities that will help people find pride in the usage of their language. Have activities that will help people find joy in the usage of their language. If the government don't know to do that, wait for them. Just do it in your community, do it in your home. And I want to thank those communities, even in Edo State.
This is where the challenge comes from now. Our children, especially those of us who are not in Benin or in Agenebote or Wekpawano or in Uromi or Ubiaja or in Ora, Sabongida, we may not have the influence over our children as to how they learn the language. So, Nekpen, back to you. You have been concerned about reviving the Edo culture and Edo language and all that. What about our children? How did they pick from us? Because there was something Doctor said that's very interesting. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, like what I said earlier, that we are all complicit of this issue of lack of usage of the language with our children at home. And if you remember, the day we initiated the Edo Language Day, High Priest Soni Irabor said that in order to preserve a language from becoming extinct, we must speak it, we must recite it as poem, we must dramatize it. There are many methods of ensuring that we preserve indigenous language. Okay, so right now, from what our activities right now, especially these upcoming events, we are trying to incorporate diverse activities like drama, singing, dancing, everything, reciting poems to it. Because it's not just about using it at home or encouraging people to use it at home. It's about, incorporating some activities that will motivate people to use the language, like in the film industry, the Nollywood industry. So, Edo language can be used to produce films. These are various ways that we can use to preserve this, our indigenous language from becoming extinct. So Edo Language Day initiative is just a part of it. So we are using this media to encourage everybody, the school system, because I was told that right now the WAEC, probably Edo language will be removed from the WAEC because lack of enrollment in the school system. So we are also encouraging the school system to ensure that they incorporate Edo language. It should be a priority in every school in Nigeria. Our indigenous language is supposed to come first before foreign languages that were imposed on us, especially the Europeans imposing their languages on us. And today, those languages have become the public language, the official languages in Africa. So how about we revitalize our language and give that dignity to our indigenous languages? So that is what we are trying to promote in our program, Edo Language Day Worldwide. Thank you.
There's something you said now that touched me. If they are saying that West African Examination Council is saying, for example, that because of lack of enrollment or interest, that they might remove it from the curriculum, that would be, very, very sad to hear. Because the historical antecedents of the language comes from, it's an empirical, action that is needed. That Edo that went as far as Ga in Ghana, and also Republic of Benin that is named after Benin City. What are we talking about? There's a big danger here. What do you think, Dr. Upiomoh?
Thank you, sir. So that was what I did mention. So when you don't know your language, you won't know your history. You just mentioned the Ga people of Ghana from Edo, the Dahomey of Benin, the Cameroon Onitsha. Now, even up until Japan, Eko is Edo. So, but we don't even understand the extent to which that we exist. The reason why I do say, when the government are sometimes a set of people who do not really understand so much those important stuff. And they're also forced by empirical and foreign impositions. So when the people understand that this is who we are, this is our identity, it is you now that will make the government now see the error with which they are doing in erasing ourselves and our history, and will be cost for that. How can you, the entire West Africa, the entire what we call Nigeria today, I should say, even the West African coast, were eventually able to be conquered because of the defeat of the Benin Kingdom. And you think that that history is not as important and you want to throw it away. My sister eloquently said, we have to use it beyond the households to films, and that's all I'm saying. Use it in those activities. Use it in everything that we do. Do not get caught up in the colonial narrative of it. Use it. Now, if as a government, and I pray it happens, that the government can say that in order to show that you're a viable son or daughter of the land, you must be able to speak your mother tongue, your indigenous language, your father tongue, or however it's called, will change the entire scope. instead of having beauty pageants, I'm not saying it's not important, maybe in addition to it, I should say. If you have language competitions, the thing is that when you reward a thing, you're giving it importance and you're making the people see that, wow, it is worth it after all. So because most of the things that are being rewarded are things that are actually not of great significance to us. For example, you go on YouTube, we're talking about this compared to someone doing a dancing video. But one doing a dancing video gets more views, get more attention compared to education programming like this. However, if education programming are rewarded, if heritage work is rewarded, if the Edo language is rewarded by our government and by people in high places, for the government, people are in high positions to be able to do this. Force the hand of the government to say, you know what? This is actually making sense for my people and my people's voices heard. And then they will take it up on another level to support our cause. Ms. Nekpen and myself, we're not being paid to do this. But we know the importance of the work for our children and for those coming and for our ancestors. We know what our ancestors went through to preserve our culture and tradition. We will be cursed if we're not able to carry their work forward. Sometimes we also neglect in the works of the hands of our ancestors, bring the whole curses we run to different churches and mobs trying to get out of our head. We have to replenish and bless the hands and works of our ancestors for it to just keep going and building the next generation. We'd be here to even talk about our language if they did not preserve it for us to come inherit it.
There's something that tickled me. The fact that there was a Bible in Benin language, Edo language. There's also a Bible in Yoruba language. There's also a Bible in Igbo language. And I think so in Hausa as well. But I'm sure in Quran, there's Quran, well, I think there's Arabic in Quran and then Hausa in Quran. And of course, you also have Yoruba in Quran. Where am I going to? I'm trying to say that if people could spend time to dedicate so much energy into transcribing and putting these biblical facts together in our languages, then we should be able to encourage our children or our followers or those who may just see it, with a wave of whatever, as an instrument of how do you put it? I'm trying not to get myself carried away. It's an entitlement that you must ensure that you do it. It's a commitment. That's the word I'm looking for. Commitment.
Yes.
Do you see the commitment in people? Nekpen. Nekpen first.
Yes, the commitment in people these days, I would say we see few people committed. Like what I said earlier, I will reiterate. Many people during our programs, the outreach programs, many people have advised me, encouraging me to forget about promoting this Edo linguistic heritage, that is not beneficial to our children, to us, when you look at the economic aspect of it. So they believe that it's not beneficial. Why should we be wasting our time? That was the reason some people told me that they cannot donate for this type of initiative that has nothing to do with the future of their children. So I will blame the school system, because the same school system that the colonial policy used to reduce our language, to reduce it to nothing in Africa, can be used to revitalize the language. Because when we were in school those days, in the 80s, when I was in the primary school, we were being punished for speaking our indigenous languages in the classroom. So that same school system can also be used to revitalize Edo indigenous language today. If, for instance, Edo language become a kind of a core courses in the school system, that without the Edo language you cannot graduate, people will be encouraged to use the language, to study the language in school. So right now, people are not enrolling for Edo language because it's not one of the compulsory subjects in the school system. So that is why we are using this medium to encourage the school system, the government, to apply seriousness to this promotion of our indigenous languages in Africa as a whole. So, yeah.
Right. Dr. Upiomoh, it's your turn. What do you see about commitment and indeed the fact that you are an Edo woman? So somebody tells you, speak your language or speak your dialect. Will you feel shamed by it, or you feel the commitment to speak your language?
I may have $1 million, but there is no pride. What is my pride based on? My pride based on money that comes and goes. Even those with billions, no money they finish. Now my language and my culture, now it make me. I get my own name. I don't get Oyibo name. You see, by the time when it be say, you put 100 people for inside room when all of una get money, all of una be doctor, all of una get house. Wetin can remain when go separate you from the person when they beside you, front of you, back of you? It becomes your heritage. In my village, Edo people in my dialect, no matter where you go in the world, there is nowhere like home. The tortoise does not crawl, no matter how slow, and leave its shell behind it. No matter how long a log of wood stays in the river, it does not become a crocodile. So you lose your language, you lose your culture, you lose your heritage, you've lost yourself. Money does not define a man, it is your heritage that does. So if you want to sell your destiny for a bowl of porridge, you have the story and you have the outcome. That's all I can say.
Okay.
You think?
There's more. We're going to take a short break. When we get back, we'll go deeper into the whole essence of owning our language. Owning our language. So, we'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. You're told that your language is your identity. So that's why when we were going on break, I said, own your language, right? So I have 2 guests out of 3 in the studio, 2 vibrant ladies, Nekpen Obasogie, that's your native name, so to speak, and then Osholene Upiomoh, that's also your native name. And my own is Soni Irabor. That's my own native name. So we are all together very indigenous in nature. However, our children are not exactly like that. Nekpen, you answer that because I know you have a son.
Yes, a majority of us are complicit of this because of the colonial policy that inculcated in us these narratives that our indigenous languages are secondary to the European languages during the colonial era, you know. So the impact is what we are experiencing today. We are working, it's part of our efforts to ensure that we revitalize this language. There are a lot of issues affecting our efforts, especially our programs that we set up to promote this language. You know, lack of funding, lack of support. Like Potter said earlier that even some people advising me to forget about promoting this languages, our language. So how do we deal with our people? How can the government support this program? That is what we are talking about here, because, you know, the school system will play the major role here, because the same school system that was used to dehumanize or reduce our language to nothing can be also used to revitalize it. So we are sending this message to the government, the federal government, so please apply more actions to these indigenous languages in Nigeria. The school system, the state government, we are using this media to encourage everyone to support our programs, as well as ensuring that this language become, or our indigenous languages become compulsory subjects in the school system. That will help, that will go a long way in revitalizing our indigenous languages in Nigeria.
Okay, all right, Dr. Upiomoh, let's check from you. How would you react to being told that this is your identity, therefore, let it be known that as a custodian of the Benin or Edo history or culture or tradition, how would you then propagate it outside Nigeria?
How will you then?
How will you propagate it outside your country, Nigeria? Propagation.
How will I promote that language outside Nigeria? Yeah. Oh, like I'm doing it. I remember when I was, when I had one of my children, I had to go to Nigeria to have it because I'm a traditional woman. I use my traditional medicine, so I had to have my child. I had her in Nigeria using just our local medicines, and the best experience I had ever. I remember during the naming ceremony, one of the, usually I'll do a traditional naming, but to honor my mother too, who she's an amazing woman, she's a reverend and all that, so we did the pastor thing. And it was very disrespectful and insulting when the pastor reading the name said, there's no English name. He was so shocked. My husband is a Canadian by way of, like you say, the African Americans is African Canadian, and he came, he saw our culture, he respected so much, and he tells me how he benefits from marrying me. I'm not his first or second wife, but then he benefits from marrying me because he's benefiting from the culture, he's benefiting from the tradition. So beyond saying it, you are an epitome of it. All my children, in fact, you know how we have the tradition of when the in-laws name their, when the mother-in-laws or father-in-laws, they name their son-in-laws as a result of affection to us. So my mom gave him an African name by way of adoption and all that.
What's the name? What's that African name?
An Edo name.
What's the name?
Eshoha. Isinoha. Eshoha.
Eshoha.
So, yes, and right now, all his children have left the slave name, bear his African name. So, there is none of my children with an English name, and their father chose to honor his lineage by breaking that cycle of both physical slavery and mental slavery. So if just by me living my lifestyle in accordance to the traditions, then I'm honoring those on whose shoulders I stand. I'm honoring my mothers and mothers and mothers before me, and my fathers and fathers before me. I'm honoring my forebears. So how am I promoting it? I'm promoting it by my lifestyle. I'm promoting it by what we are doing with Edo Language Day. Another thing people don't understand is the same white man only has respect for you when they know that you got your own. So you listen. I'm in leadership circles of the top-notch government officials in my province. I worked in the highest house of the land. As you could hear me, I speak some good English. I'm not saying I speak British English. Guess what? I speak my own language too.
Well, that's good.
More intelligent that I have now, addition to my roots. So it doesn't take away from you to speak your language. You just even become more intelligent because that means your brain is functioning better. It means that you are exposed to more world views on how we access the universe. And guess what? You only add on. So the white man is speaking and you're going, yes, yes, oh God, I know that. Yes, I got that. Then you say, hold on a minute. Yeah, okay, badi, emoyo. Thank you. I have just decoded a message. And now we say we are in the age of information and we ask him, what is the economics in me knowing my language? Go outside and you will see the difference between trying to speak something that no one shall understand between yourself and your children and your sister and your brother and your friend that would have brought you so much money, so much gold, from not being able to know how to communicate that because you're not alone.
Okay.
Let people tell you for themselves who are trying to get their papers in Canada. Tell you the multiple, what do they call it, surveillance that goes on. Your phone is being tapped, everything is being tapped because immigration is on you. And when you don't know how to communicate in that language to get things going, that's why you see the deportations.
Okay.
That's why you see people here.
Right. Nekpen, this is interesting. You don't know what you put everybody into, Nekpen.
Yes.
This is a big one because look at the fact that this is your 3rd anniversary, you said? Yeah? 3 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In those 3 years, what would this new year, August 13, in about a month or so, what would this one entail? What are you going to do this time?
Good question, sir. You know, the damages have been done to our language and culture. So how do we reverse it? So that is what we are working towards to achieve now. Right. Like what High Priest Osholene Upiomoh said the day we initiated Edo Language Day, that in order to preserve or to protect a language from becoming extinct, we have to recite it as poem, we have to dramatize it and everything. And this year, preparation for Edo Language Day kind of encapsulates what High Priest Upiomoh said the day we initiated this program. So we are preparing to have some drama, some dancing, and reciting poems. You know, in a Edo Language Day platform, Edo Language Day group, we position the elders and the youths in like the core of the program, because they said the elders are the knowledge keepers of our society. How do we transfer this knowledge to the younger generation? That is why these two groups of people are very important in Edo Language Day program. The elders, you know, transferring their knowledge system to the younger generation, the youth. So we allow the elders to train us in Edo Language Day. They train us, they teach us the language, how to use the language, and we also allow the youth to recite poems. We teach them how to recite poems, even though they are here, majority of them were born here in North America, some are in the US, while some are in Canada. We teach them because we know that these children are the future of Edo language and culture. So yes, this year we are preparing. Every year we have different activities, you know, activities that encompasses what High Priest Osholene Upiomoh said the day we initiated this Edo Language Day. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Upiomoh, over to you. Edo Language Day is August 13. August 13. Yeah, you're right. Go ahead. Yes.
Oh, sorry, I didn't get that.
Edo Language Day worldwide is August 13 each year. So she has already said there will be a lot of emphasis. Sorry? There will be a lot of emphasis on drama.
Can I quickly clarify?
Singing. Yes, go ahead. Nekpen, go ahead.
Me?
You said something, yeah.
Okay, so Edo Language Day initiative is August 13th every year. However, we celebrate like the in-person events a weekend prior to on the 13th, because you know the 13th sometimes will not fall for weekend. So like this year, we have scheduled the Edo Language Day celebration worldwide from August 8th to 13th. Oh. So we have a series of activities for that 3-4 days of celebration. So we started from Friday, August 8th to Wednesday, August 13th. So that is how we have been celebrating it every year. But August 13th is the designated date for Edo Language Day worldwide.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to clarify.
Yes, it's good. But I need to find out from you, will you celebrate it in Edo State as well as in Toronto, Canada, or what? Nekpen again.
Yes, this year, well, yes, sir. Yes, this year we are celebrating it in 5 locations in Edo State. So the way we are celebrating it, we allow different locations in Edo State to use their indigenous language or dialect to celebrate it. So when we say Edo Language Day worldwide, some people believe that we are using or the Benin-speaking language in Edo State. No, this Edo Language Day encompasses all the indigenous languages and dialects in Edo State. So if, for instance, the program is being hosted in Auchi, the local dialects in Auchi will be used to celebrate it. So that is what we have been doing since then. That is why we carry a lot of people, everybody. You know, we are very inclusive in celebrating Edo Language Day.
Okay.
This is not about the Benin-speaking population. This is about
No.
all indigenous languages and dialects in Edo State. Yes.
Okay, Dr. Upiomoh, now, looking at what she just said, you are from Wepawano, Akenebote, okay? And that language is quite different from the rest. I mean, it's an offshoot than a Edo dialect. So what kind of celebration are you going to be involved in this activity?
Oh, so I'm part of the organizing committee, and I also support Lady Nekpen hand in hand. I'm involved from the organizing to the funding seeking to everything, to the partnerships granted with the University of Toronto, from the nitty-gritty up. So what we're doing, if I were the government, I will say, what do you need for us to do for you? As a government, they should understand that they are only human beings. And beyond money, it's about your dignity, your integrity. It's about your respect. As educators, what we are saying is this. We didn't wait for a handout before we started this, but now we've started it. Come join it. Before you are pointing hands to another person's palace, clean your own. Because when you leave your own dirty, where you are going, they will laugh at you, even if they laugh with you in your face. So how will you promote French? How will you promote foreign life? You are not promoting your own. So people say, right, oh, our shrines are dirty, our temples are dirty, our language is not sweet. We over here, we know the value of all these things, our cultures inclusive. If the way your money is going to build foreign way of life, in your offerings, in your tithes, in your donations, if your offerings, if your donations is going to build your own, you will be beautiful too. You will be sweet. Now, you didn't know how to create or build it. We have brought to you Edo Language Day worldwide. Will you not be a stronger government if you do something that will make people, even from inside and outside, say, yes, our government really knows the worth of our heritage? Did you forget that your kings and queens, they fought for you to be alive here, just to be there and spitting on the language they used to raise you, on the language that raised them to have that milk in their breast that you suckled on to be a human being today? So when we talk about our queen mothers, and we talk and we have their status, what does it really mean to us?
It's something I'm picking from what you just said. The palace of Benin Kingdom is known, and the culture of Benin and the tradition, they are known worldwide. You go on YouTube and see anything about Benin, empire or kingdom, it goes way back, even as traced as far back. You said just now that you go to a place like Japan. It goes as far back as before Common Era, as they now say it, which is before Christ, as it used to be. Before Christ, BC. So that tradition was there, the dynasty, the Igodo-Migodo, now the Oba dynasty. The way it is today, how do you see that power being resonated to the value of the children we are bringing up? Nekpen?
Yes, that's a good question. You know that the colonial policy has dismantled our culture and heritage. You know, today the policy has reduced the power of our monarchy, and it has reduced the way we use our language, the way we adopt our cultural traditions and everything about us. So it's going to be a hard work for us. It's difficult for us today to work with our people just because of these colonial narratives. So yes, the resilience of the Edo people still exists within us, but I will tell you that colonial policy has shaped the greatness of Benin, our antecedents, our historical antecedents, everything about us has been shaped by colonial policy. So, but we are still striving. You can see that our culture is still striving. Today, people used to say that, oh, the Benin Kingdom is the cultural hub of Nigeria. Yes, we are still striving, but the pressure is coming from globalization and colonial policy. We cannot deny that. So, but we are doing our part to revive the greatness of the Benin Kingdom that continues to shape how we promote the culture, how we adopt the culture. But the colonial policy has a lot to do in terms of the lack of usage of the language that we are complaining about today, and the plight of indigenous languages, I would say. Yes.
Okay, Dr. Upiomoh, in a very short response, what do you have to say about the culture and tradition of the Benin, the Edo, culture and tradition? Because we have just 1 minute to go, less than a minute.
Okay, thank you. So what I will say is, we should not get caught up in those policies or in those hindrances, and we should be resistant. The reason I say everything begins at home. In our tradition and culture, the family is key. Keep doing what you do in your language. Even when your daughter goes to school and speaks English, let them know when you come to mama or papa's house, you are now with Iyeme, Oya, your language. The presidents, the state governors, they come from their home. The presidents, the state governors, they come from the community. As an African indigenous educator, what I'm saying is this: the education that made us great was an education that was shielded in the basket of our culture. Keep doing what you're doing, and there will come a time when the circle will slow change. And those children you raised to value their heritage will be the one in leadership. And they will then know what to do then. So that even though the school system was used to turn our backs against our mothers and fathers and wonder why we are suffering, even though we are aware of the Bible that the only commandment with a blessing, honor your father and your mother that your days will be long. Turning your back to your fathers, to your ancestors, turning your back to your cultural heritage, your language, is dishonoring your mother and your father.
Right.
And we suffer for it.
Thank you very much.
So please, let's do what we are doing in our households and communities, and it will pay off shortly.
Amen. Okay, so on that note, I want to thank the two of you, and also to say that Dr. Harris Enabulele actually tried to join us, but he was in transit, so connection wasn't too sharp. So he had to, cut off. But anyway, so it's been great conversation here, but this is the beginning for other languages, indigenous languages, and even the major or non-major ones. Please remember your home. That's what it means. Remember your family, remember your tradition, and don't forget where you come from. Thank you all, ladies, and thank you all, viewers at home and globally. We'll be meeting again next week. Good night.